The lights in the delivery room were too bright. I gripped the metal rails of the bed so hard my knuckles turned white. Pain tore through my body like fire. Then I heard his voice. Emma? Oh God. Emma? Dr. Marcus Hale stood in the doorway, in his white coat. My ex-husband. The man who had walked out of my life 2 years ago. His face went pale the second our eyes met. I tried to speak, but another contraction hit. I screamed instead. Nurses moved fast around me. Someone shouted for more monitors. Marcus stepped closer, his hands already gloved. He was the on-call obstetrician tonight. Of all the doctors in Seattle, it had to be him. Emma, I need you to breathe. Look at me. You're going to be okay. His voice was professional, calm. But I saw the tremor in his fingers when he checked the fetal monitor. The baby's heartbeat filled the room. Strong, fast, alive. Marcus froze for half a second when he saw the readout. Then he swallowed hard and went back to work. I wanted to laugh through the pain, or cry, or both. 2 years ago, he and his mother swore this moment would never happen. Now here we were. Push, breathe, push again. Time blurred, hours or minutes, I couldn't tell. Then the final push. A cry filled the room. My son. Marcus lifted the baby. His hands shook as he held him. He stared at the newborn's face, the tiny nose, the dark hair, the birthmark on the left shoulder, the same one Marcus had. He turned even whiter. A nurse took the baby to clean him. Marcus stood there, staring at his gloved hands like they belonged to someone else. Congratulations, he whispered. His voice cracked. It's a boy. I didn't answer. I just watched him. Watched the man who once promised me forever realize everything was about to collapse. That was the moment the first crack appeared in his perfect life. Let me take you back. Because none of this started in that delivery room on March 12, 2024. It started on a warm June evening in 2019 at a charity gala in downtown Seattle. I was 28, a marketing coordinator at a small tech firm. Marcus was 32, already a rising star in obstetrics at Seattle Memorial Hospital. He approached me near the dessert table. Tall, confident, that easy doctor smile. You look like you're escaping the speeches too, he said. We talked for 2 hours. He listened. When I spoke about my dream of starting my own small marketing agency one day. He told me about delivering his first baby that week, how it felt like catching lightning. 3 months later, we were engaged. His mother, Evelyn, wasn't happy. I met her at their family home in Bellevue, a big colonial house with perfect lawns. Evelyn Hale was 61, elegant, and ice cold from the first handshake. So you're the girl who caught my son, she said with a thin smile. Marcus laughed it off. Mom, be nice. But Evelyn never liked me. I wasn't from their circle. No trust fund, no Ivy League, just a girl from Portland who worked hard. Still, Marcus and I got married in October 2020. Small ceremony because of the pandemic. We moved into a beautiful apartment overlooking Lake Washington. For a while, it felt like a fairy tale. Marcus worked long hours. I supported him, cooked meals at midnight when he came home exhausted, rubbed his shoulders after 30-hour shifts. Then the cracks started. It was small things at first. In early 2021, Evelyn began pushing the topic of grandchildren. Time is ticking, Emma. Marcus needs an heir to carry on the family name. I laughed nervously. We were only married a few months. But Evelyn didn't laugh. Marcus started agreeing, with her more and more. One night in July 2021, he came home from dinner with his mother. He sat me down at the kitchen island. Mom thinks we should get checked, just to be safe. You know, fertility testing. I was surprised. We hadn't even been trying. But I loved him. I agreed. The tests began. Blood work, ultrasounds. Marcus's results came back perfect. Mine. They said low ovarian reserve, possible endometriosis. Evelyn was there when the doctor gave us the news. She sighed dramatically. Well, some women just aren't built for motherhood. It's biology, dear. Marcus squeezed my hand, but he didn't argue with her. That was the first open wound. We tried anyway. Months of timed intimacy, vitamins, tracking apps. Nothing worked. Every negative test felt heavier. By late 2022, Marcus was distant. Long shifts became longer. He stopped talking about the future, stopped touching me the way he used to. Then came the night I found the messages. It was December 17th, 2022. I was home alone, sick with the flu. Marcus's phone buzzed on the counter while he was in the shower. I picked it up to silence it. The screen showed a text from Lauren Hospital. "You were incredible last night. Can't stop thinking about your hands on me. When can I see you again?" My stomach dropped. I scrolled up. Dozens of messages, photos, plans to meet at a hotel near the hospital. I waited until he came out of the shower. He saw my face and knew. Emma. "It's not what you think." I played the voice. Note she sent him, her moaning his name. Marcus went quiet. Then he got angry. "You invaded my privacy? After everything I've done for you?" That was the night he first mentioned divorce. But Evelyn made it worse. She came over the next day, sat across from me in our living room like she owned it. "You couldn't give him children. What did you expect? A man like Marcus has needs you clearly can't meet." I told her to leave. Marcus filed for divorce in January 2023. The settlement was brutal. He wanted the apartment, most of our savings, even my car that my parents helped buy. His lawyer argued I contributed less financially. Evelyn testified that I had been emotionally unstable and obsessed with having a baby that was never going to happen. The judge granted the divorce in June 2023. I walked away with $38,000 and my clothes. Marcus kept almost everything. On the day the papers were signed, Evelyn pulled me aside in the courthouse hallway. "You'll never have his child, never. The universe has already decided. Move on, Emma. Find someone your own size." I didn't cry in front of her. I waited until I was in my small rented studio in Capitol Hill. Then I cried for 3 straight days. After that, I did what I had to do. I got a better job, started my own freelance marketing business, went to therapy, rebuilt. I dated a little, nothing serious, until Ryan. Ryan was different, kind, a civil engineer who loved hiking and made me laugh. We met in August 2023 at a coffee shop near my new place. He didn't push, he just showed up consistently. By November, we were serious. I told him about my past, about the infertility diagnosis. Ryan took my hand. "We'll figure it out together, or we won't. Either way, I choose you." That was the first time in years I felt hope again. Then in December 2023, I missed my period. I bought 3 tests, all positive. My hands shook so hard I dropped the 3rd one in the sink. I called my doctor immediately. She confirmed it. Somehow, against all the tests and Evelyn's cruel words, I was pregnant. I didn't tell Marcus. Why would I? He had made his choice. I didn't even tell Ryan right away. I needed time to process. The pregnancy was rough from the start. Morning sickness that lasted all day. Spotting that scared me. My doctor put me on bed rest at 16 weeks. Ryan was incredible. He moved in to take care of me, cooked, cleaned, held my hair when I threw up at 3 a.m. But the fear never left me. What if something went wrong? What if the baby had complications because of my history? I kept every ultrasound photo, every blood test result. I saved them in a folder on my laptop labeled Miracle. Marcus had no idea. Until that night in March 2024, when my water broke at 2:17 a.m. and the ambulance brought me to Seattle Memorial, the same hospital where he worked, the same hospital where his mother still volunteered on the board. I didn't know he was on call, but fate has a sick sense of humor. Back in the delivery room, the baby was crying in the warmer. Healthy, 7 pounds, 4 ounces. Born at 4:42 a.m. on March 12th. Marcus stood near the door now. He had removed his gloves but couldn't seem to leave. A nurse brought the baby to me. I held him against my chest, skin to skin, his little hand wrapped around my finger. Marcus watched us. His jaw was tight. "Emma, we need to talk." I looked up at him, calm, tired, but strong. "Not now, Marcus. Not ever if I don't want to." He stepped closer, lowered his voice. "That baby, he looks..." The nurse interrupted. "Dr. Hale, you're needed for paperwork." Marcus hesitated. Then he left the room, but not before looking back one more time. His face was still pale. I kissed my son's head. This was only the beginning. I spent the next few hours in the recovery room trying to rest. Ryan arrived around 7 a.m. He had been at a site visit 2 hours away when I called him in panic. He rushed back. He walked in carrying flowers and a teddy bear. His eyes were red, from crying happy tears. "Emma, he's perfect." We held our son together, named him Noah James. James after my father who passed away when I was young. Ryan kissed my forehead. "I'm going to be the best dad in the world." I believed him, but the hospital had other plans. Around 10 a.m., a knock came at the door. Evelyn Hale walked in without waiting for an answer, dressed in her expensive cream sweater set, pearl earrings, looking like she owned the place. She stopped when she saw Ryan holding Noah. "Who are you?" she demanded. Ryan stood up protectively. "I'm Emma's partner, and Noah's father." Evelyn laughed, a short, cruel sound. "That's impossible. Marcus told me everything. Emma can't have children. This baby must be adopted or something." I sat up in bed despite the pain. "Get out of my room, Evelyn." She ignored me and stepped closer. "To the bassinet. Look at him. Those features, that hairline. He's a Hale. I know my own blood." Ryan moved between her and the baby. "Ma'am, you need to leave before I call security." Evelyn's eyes narrowed. "You have no idea what you're getting into. My son is the father, and he will want his rights." She turned and left before we could respond. Ryan looked at me. "Is she crazy?" I sighed. "She's dangerous, and she's not wrong about one thing. Marcus is the biological father." Ryan went quiet for a long moment. Then he sat down beside me. "I knew that was possible. You told me the timeline. But Emma, I don't care. Noah is ours. Biology doesn't change that." Tears filled my eyes. I squeezed his hand, but deep down I knew Marcus and Evelyn wouldn't let this go easily. Later that afternoon, Marcus came back, alone this time. He looked like he hadn't slept. "Emma, please, let me see him." I let him. What choice did I have in the hospital? He stood over the bassinet, stared at Noah for a long time. "He has the Hale birthmark," he whispered. I didn't respond. Marcus turned to me. "We need a DNA test, immediately." I reached into my hospital bag, pulled out an envelope. "Already done. Private lab. Results. Came in yesterday. He's yours. 99%. Marcus's knees almost buckled. He grabbed the bed rail. "How?" "The doctor said." "Your mother said." "The doctor said it was difficult, not impossible. I got lucky. Or maybe the universe finally gave me what you both tried to take away." He stared at the envelope in his hands, then at me. "What do you want, Emma? Money? The apartment back?" I smiled for the first time in hours. "I want you to live with what you did, every single day, knowing that I have your son, and you don't get to be part of his life unless I decide it." Marcus's face changed. The doctor mask slipped. For a second, I saw real fear. This was far from over. Marcus stood there holding the envelope like it was burning his fingers. His designer watch caught the fluorescent light. The same Rolex he bought after our honeymoon in Maui. $3,000. Money he said we couldn't waste on fertility treatments. Ryan stayed beside me, one hand on my shoulder. Steady, quiet. "You already knew. Marcus said finally. His voice was low, almost a whisper. You had the test done before you even came to the hospital. I adjusted Noah against my chest. His tiny mouth moved in his sleep. I knew the second line turned pink on that test in December. I wasn't going to let you or your mother rewrite this story. A nurse knocked softly and entered to check my vitals. Marcus stepped back, but he didn't leave. He watched every movement like a man studying a problem he couldn't solve. When the nurse left, he tried again. Emma, this changes everything. We need to talk about custody, about support. He's my son. Ryan spoke for the first time, calm but firm. Noah has a father, me. You signed away your rights when you walked out and let your mother trash Emma in court. Marcus's jaw tightened. That was before I knew there was a child. Biology matters, Ryan, or whatever your name is, I cut in. Biology mattered when your mother told everyone I was broken. When you nodded along at every family dinner. When you started sleeping with Lauren from pediatrics because I couldn't give you the perfect Hail Air on demand. He flinched. At her name. Good. Outside the window, rain started hitting the glass. Seattle weather, cold, relentless, just like the night I found those messages. Marcus pulled up a chair, sat down like he planned to stay. I made mistakes, I admit that. But Evelyn, she was worried about the family line. She pushed too hard. I should have stopped her. I laughed once, short, bitter. You didn't stop her when she offered your lawyer an extra $20,000 to dig up dirt on me. You didn't stop her when she told the judge I was unstable because I cried during one mediation session. He looked down at his hands. Those same hands that had just delivered his own son. A text buzzed on his phone. He glanced at it and his face went tight again. Evelyn, I knew without seeing the screen. She's coming back, isn't she? I asked. Marcus didn't deny it. She has influence here. Board member. She can make things smoother for you. Longer stay. Better room. Whatever you need. Ryan stood up. We don't need her version of smooth. We need you both to leave. But Evelyn didn't wait for permission. 20 minutes later, the door opened again. She swept in carrying a large gift bag from some baby. Boutique in Bellevue. Designer onesie. Tiny silver spoon. Things that cost more than my monthly rent. Her eyes locked on Noah immediately. Let me see my grandson. I held him closer. He's not yours to claim, Evelyn. She ignored me and turned to Marcus. You confirmed it? Of course you did. The birthmark, the timing. I told you she was lying about moving on so fast. Ryan stepped forward. Ma'am, this is a private room. Security is one call away. Evelyn smiled that thin smile I remembered from every holiday. Young man, my family has donated over $400,000 to this hospital in the last decade. Security won't touch me, but they will escort you out if I ask. The tension in the room was thick enough to cut. Noah stirred and let out a small cry. I rocked him gently, whispering soft words until he settled. Marcus tried to play peacemaker. Mom, not here. Not now. But Evelyn wasn't finished. She pulled out her phone and started showing photos. Old ones. Marcus and me at our wedding. Then more recent ones. Marcus with Lauren at a hospital fundraiser last year. Her hand on his arm, both smiling. See this, Emma? Life moved on. For all of us. But blood calls blood. Marcus will be in this child's life. We can do this civilly or through the courts. Your choice. I looked at her. Really looked. The perfectly dyed blonde hair. The diamond tennis bracelet that probably cost more than my car. The woman who once told me I was lucky to even marry into their family. You swore I could never have this, I said quietly. You told me I was defective. You convinced Marcus to stop trying. You helped him leave. And now you want in? Evelyn's eyes flashed. I protected my son from a woman who would have dragged him down with endless doctor visits and disappointment. Look at you now, single, struggling, raising a child in some tiny apartment. We can give Noah everything. Ryan's voice stayed even. We're engaged, actually. Ring is being sized, and our home is warm, full of love. That's more than... You two ever offered Emma? Marcus shifted uncomfortably. He hadn't known about the engagement. The news hit him harder than I expected. I decided it was time to plant the next seed. There are things you don't know, Marcus. Things I found out after the divorce. About the medical records. About what your mother did with my test results. Both of them went still. Evelyn recovered first. Whatever you think you have, it's lies. Desperate lies from a bitter ex-wife. I smiled. Small, tired. We'll see. That was the first open loop I left hanging there in the recovery room. They didn't know how deep I had dug. Not yet. The afternoon dragged on with more checks. Blood pressure, bleeding, pain meds. Every time a nurse came in, Evelyn found reasons to stay. She cooed at Noah from a distance. Took photos when she thought I wasn't looking. Marcus hovered near the door, checking his watch, answering texts from the hospital staff. His perfect doctor life was cracking, and he knew it, around town. 3 p.m., my doctor, Dr. Patel, came in for rounds. She was a no-nonsense woman in her 50s. She had seen the tension immediately. Mrs. Hale, sorry, Ms. Thompson now. You need rest. Only immediate family for the next few hours. Evelyn started to protest. Dr. Patel shut it down fast. Board member or not, this is my patient's recovery. Out, both of you. They left, but not before Marcus leaned in close to me. This isn't over, Emma. I want to be in his life. I deserve that chance. I looked him straight in the eyes. You deserve exactly what you gave me. Nothing. After they were gone, Ryan let out a long breath. He sat on the edge of the bed and took my hand. You were strong. But Emma, are you really ready for this? War? I nodded. I've been ready since the day I found those messages. I started collecting proof the week after the divorce was final. Bank records, old emails. Even a copy of the altered medical summary Evelyn sent to my old OB-GYN. Ryan raised an eyebrow. How? Her assistant at the foundation liked me more than her. She slipped me things, dates, communications, enough to show they pressured. Doctors. Pushed the infertility narrative harder than the tests actually supported. Noah woke up hungry. I fed him while Ryan ordered food for us from the cafeteria. Turkey sandwich, soup, nothing fancy. But it felt like victory just to eat without Evelyn watching. As the sun started setting over the city skyline visible from my window, my mind drifted back to the months right after the divorce. July 2023. I was living in that tiny studio, $1,350 a month, barely enough left after bills. I worked freelance gigs until midnight some nights, building my client list one small business at a time. I joined a women's support group at the community center on Capitol Hill every Tuesday. That's where I met Sarah. She was a paralegal who had gone through her own nasty divorce. She listened to my story and said 3 words that changed everything. Get everything documented. So I did. I paid a private investigator $4,000 I couldn't really afford. He found hotel receipts, credit card charges at restaurants I never went to, messages between Marcus and Lauren that went back 6 months before our divorce. But the biggest bomb came in October 2023. The investigator got access to some old clinic emails through a former employee. Evelyn had contacted my doctor directly, suggested that my chart notes emphasize the worst possible outcome. For Marcus's sake, she wrote, he needs to know the truth before he wastes more years. That email was saved, time-stamped. Real. I never used it during the divorce because my lawyer said it was risky without more proof, but I kept it, waiting. Then Ryan entered my life. Steady, honest, the opposite of Marcus in every way. He proposed on Valentine's Day 2024. Simple ring, real promise. We planned a small wedding for next summer. The pregnancy news came right after. I was terrified and overjoyed at the same time. I kept doctor appointments secret, changed my last name on medical records back to Thompson. Anything to keep Marcus and Evelyn in the dark until I was ready. Now, in this hospital bed, with Noah sleeping beside me, the past felt both far away and too close. Around 8 p.m., another knock. This time it was Lauren, the other woman. She stood, in scrubs, looking nervous, pretty in that polished hospital way, blonde ponytail, light makeup. "I heard Dr. Hale delivered your baby," she said quietly. "I'm sorry to intrude. I wanted to see if you were okay." Ryan tensed beside me. I waved him down. "Come in, Lauren. Say what you came to say." She stepped inside but stayed near the door. "Marcus and we're not together anymore. It ended last year. He told me you couldn't have kids, that the marriage fell apart because of that. I believed him. I shouldn't have." I studied her face. She looked genuinely uncomfortable. "He used both of us," I said. "You for excitement. Me for the image of the perfect wife, until I wasn't useful anymore." Lauren nodded. "I saw him in the hallway earlier. He looked destroyed, not just tired, destroyed. Whatever is happening here, it's bigger than me." She left after that. No drama. Just another crack in the story Marcus had built. The night deepened. Hospital sounds faded into background beeps and distant footsteps. Ryan dozed in the chair. I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Evelyn's face, heard her, voice telling me I was defective. Around midnight, I got up slowly, careful with the IV and the pain. I walked to the window and looked out at the city lights. Rain still fell. That was when the second open loop started forming in my mind. The folder on my laptop, the one with everything, the one I planned to show Marcus at the right moment. Not yet, but soon. The next morning brought more visitors. My parents drove down from Portland. They cried when they held Noah. My mom hugged me so tight it hurt my stitches, but I didn't care. Marcus showed up again at 9 a.m., this time with flowers, expensive ones, white roses, the kind he used to buy when he felt guilty after working. "Too late!" "I spoke to a family lawyer," he said after my parents stepped out for coffee. "We can do joint custody. I'll pay generous child support. $1,500 a month, more if you need. And I'll add him to my health insurance immediately." I took the flowers but set them on the far table. $1,500. That's what you spent on one weekend in Vancouver with Lauren in 2022. I saw the charges. He rubbed his face, exhausted. "Emma, I'm trying here. I delivered my own son yesterday. I held him. I can't just walk away." "You did before, twice. Once when you cheated. Once when you divorced me." Evelyn appeared in the doorway then. She had clearly been listening. "Marcus, the board meeting is in 20 minutes. Don't forget your position here depends on reputation." The threat was subtle but clear. Marcus's career, his status, everything tied to the hospital where his mother pulled strings. I felt a small surge of satisfaction. The man who once controlled everything was starting to feel the pressure. Ryan returned with my parents. The room filled with normal family warmth. Stories about my dad, laughter. Evelyn and Marcus looked out of place, like intruders in a life they no longer belonged to. Before they left, Marcus turned back one more time. "Emma, please think about it. For Noah's sake." I didn't answer. I just looked at my son, at Ryan holding him, at the future we were building. But deep down, I knew the real confrontation was still coming, the one where I would lay out every calculated move they made, every lie, every attempt to erase me from Marcus's life. And when that moment arrived, Dr. Marcus Hale would understand exactly how it felt to have everything you built suddenly turn against you. The rain outside finally started to ease. A small sign maybe, or just Seattle being Seattle. Either way, I was ready for whatever came next. The hospital room felt smaller with every passing hour. By the second afternoon, March 13th, the walls seemed to press in. Noah slept in the bassinet, beside my bed. Ryan had gone home for a quick shower and fresh clothes. My parents waited downstairs in the cafeteria, giving us space. Marcus returned alone this time. No flowers, no Evelyn, just him in fresh scrubs, looking like he hadn't slept since the delivery. I pulled some strings, he said quietly. You can stay an extra night. Observation, just to be safe. I adjusted the thin blanket over my legs, the stitches pulled with every small movement. I don't need your strings, Marcus. We're being discharged tomorrow morning. He sat down, in the same chair as before, leaned forward, elbows on knees. Emma, I've been thinking about everything, the way things ended, the things my mother said. I should have protected you from her. I stayed silent, let him fill the space. He continued. Lauren told me she came by. She said you were calm, stronger than she expected. I guess I underestimated you. A soft knock interrupted, a different nurse this time. She checked the IV fluids, smiled at Noah, and left without saying much. Marcus waited until the door clicked shut. I want to be in his life, Emma. Not just money, real time, weekends, holidays. He deserves to know his father. I looked at him then. Really looked. The same face I once loved. Now it carried new lines around the eyes. Exhaustion mixed with fear. You want to know what he deserves? I asked. He deserves a father who doesn't abandon his mother the moment things get hard. He deserves truth, not the version your mother wrote. Marcus rubbed his temple. What do you mean by that? You keep hinting at things. Records, emails. What exactly do you think you have? That was my cue. I reached for the small notebook I had asked Ryan to bring from home. Not the full folder yet, just enough. I opened it, flipped to a page with dates and notes. July 2022. Your mother met with Dr. Reynolds at the clinic. She told him my case was hopeless, suggested he emphasize the endometriosis in the official summary, the one you read at home. Marcus frowned. That's not... She was just concerned. Concerned enough to transfer $25,000 to the clinic's research fund 2 weeks later. I have the bank transfer records. Dated, signed. He went quiet. The monitor beside me beeped steadily. Noah made a small sound in his sleep. Marcus stood up, paced to the window. Rain had stopped, but gray clouds still hung low over the city. That doesn't prove anything illegal, he said, finally. She wanted the best information. I closed the notebook. Best information for you to leave me, which you did. Conveniently, right after you started seeing Lauren regularly. He turned back, face flushed now. I was under pressure. Work, my mother, the expectations. You don't know what it's like carrying the Hale name. I laughed softly. Pain shot through my abdomen, but I didn't show it. I carried it for 3 years, cooking, supporting, smiling at galas while Evelyn introduced me as Marcus's wife, like it was a temporary title. Another tension beat arrived with the pediatrician's visit. Dr. Singh examined Noah thoroughly, checked reflexes, heart, lungs, everything perfect. When he left, Marcus seized the moment again. See, he's healthy, strong, Hale genes. We can co-parent. My lawyer can draw up papers this week. I shook my head. Your lawyer. The same one who helped strip me of almost everything in the divorce. No thanks. The door opened again. Evelyn this time. She carried a leather folder. Professional. Controlled. Marcus, the hospital administrator wants to see you. Reputation. Concerns. Rumors travel fast in this building. She looked at me. Emma, be reasonable. We can settle this quietly. $200,000, lump sum, plus monthly support, in exchange for shared custody and no public stories. Ryan walked in right then, fresh shirt, hair still damp. He heard the last part. 200,000? Ryan said. That's what you think Emma and Noah are worth? After everything? Evelyn didn't miss a beat. It's generous, more than she'll get dragging this through family court. Judges favor established professionals, doctors, board members. I felt the anger rise but kept my voice even. You really believe money fixes what you broke? Interesting. Evelyn placed the folder on the side table. Think about it, for the child's sake. They both left after that. Marcus glanced back once more. The look in his eyes wasn't just guilt anymore. It was calculation. He was starting to realize I had more cards than he expected. That evening, as the lights in the hallway dimmed, I told Ryan everything. The full extent of what I had gathered. The private investigator's report, hotel stays, the altered medical notes, even a copied email. Chain where Evelyn suggested Marcus freeze sperm early in our marriage, just in case Emma can't deliver. Ryan listened without interrupting. Then he held my hand. You don't have to do this alone anymore. Whatever you decide, I'm here. I nodded, but I knew the final pieces needed to fall into place. Around 10 p.m., I couldn't sleep. The third, open loop had been forming in my mind since yesterday. The one that would change everything. I had one more piece of evidence. Something I hadn't told anyone yet. Not even Ryan. A conversation recorded on my phone from the mediation session. Evelyn admitting off record that she had influenced the clinic to discourage further treatment, but timing mattered. I needed them to push harder, first. The next morning, March 14th, discharge day, nurses helped me pack. Ryan loaded the car seat into our modest Toyota. My parents waited in the lobby. Marcus appeared in the hallway as we were leaving, blocking the path slightly. One last conversation, Emma, please. Ryan stayed close, but let me handle it. Marcus spoke fast. I spoke to my lawyer again. He says if we go to court, I have a strong case for paternity rights, especially with my position, my income, stability. I shifted Noah in my arms. The baby carrier felt secure against my chest. Stability, I repeated. Like the stability you gave me when you moved Lauren into the apartment 3 weeks after I moved out? I have photos, moving company receipts, dated February 2023. His face went pale again. The same shade as in the delivery room. How did you... People talk, Marcus. Hospital staff, neighbors. Your perfect image has cracks, big ones. Evelyn joined us then. She must have been waiting nearby. Her voice was sharp. Enough games, Emma. Name your price, $500,000. But you signed the papers today. I looked at both of them. The powerful doctor, the controlling mother, standing in the hospital corridor where Marcus had once been hailed as a hero. You still don't understand, I said. This isn't about money. This is about you facing what you did. Both of you. I reached into my bag. Not the full folder. Not yet. Just a single printed email. The one from Evelyn to Dr. Reynolds. I handed it to Marcus. Read it. Out loud if you want. He scanned it. His hands started shaking. Mom, is this real? Evelyn snatched the paper, tore it in half. Fabricated. She's desperate. But the damage was done. Marcus had seen it. The date, the wording, the transfer reference. Security approached then. A quiet word from the charge nurse. They asked Evelyn to step back. Board member or not, patient discharge had rules. We walked out into the fresh air, Seattle sun breaking through clouds for the first time in days. Ryan drove carefully. My parents followed in their car. Back at our apartment in Capitol Hill, everything felt different. Smaller but ours. Warm. Noah's nursery ready with the crib we assembled together. I settled on the couch. Exhausted, but lighter. Ryan brought me tea. You okay? I nodded. They're going to come harder now, but I'm ready. That night, while Noah slept, I reviewed the full folder on my laptop. Every document, every timestamp, the private, investigator's final report from January 2024, even a statement from a former clinic receptionist willing to testify. This was the third open loop closing in. The evidence that would force real consequences. 2 days later, March 16th, the first, legal letter arrived. Marcus's lawyer demanding paternity test confirmation and visitation schedule. I smiled when I read it. They still thought they could control the narrative. I called my own lawyer, Sarah from the support group. She had been waiting for this. Send them the package, I told her. All of it. but hold the recording for now." The response came fast. By March 18th, Marcus called me directly, voice strained. "Emma, my mother is losing it. The hospital board is asking questions. They received anonymous tips about ethical concerns." "Was that you?" I didn't confirm. "You delivered your son, Marcus. You looked him in the face. Now you get to live with the choices you made. Both of you." He tried pleading, then bargaining, then threats about court. I hung up. Evelyn tried next. Multiple calls, texts, even a flower delivery with a note. "Let's be adults." I ignored them all. By the end of the first week home, the tension outside our door grew. A hospital administrator reached out. Subtle pressure about maintaining positive relationships with major donors. Ryan handled most of it, strong, protective. He even installed a small camera at the building entrance, just in case. One evening, around day 10, Marcus showed up at the apartment building, unannounced. He looked disheveled, tie loosened, eyes tired. The doorman called up. I agreed to meet him in the lobby, public space, safe. He stood near the mailboxes. "Emma, I'm begging you. My career is on the line. The board is investigating the clinic connections. If this blows up publicly..." I held my ground. "Then maybe you should have thought about that before letting your mother play God with my body, with our marriage, with my future." He stepped closer, voice breaking slightly. "I loved you once. I did. But the pressure, the expectations. Love doesn't look like cheating and abandonment, Marcus. It doesn't look like erasing someone because they can't give you the perfect air on schedule." Noah's cry came through the baby monitor app on my phone. I turned to leave. Marcus called after me. "What do you want? Really want?" I paused at the elevator. "I want you to feel exactly what I felt. Powerless, exposed, watching everything you built crack apart. And then I want you to live with the fact that your son will know the truth someday. The real truth." The elevator. Doors closed between us. Back upstairs, Ryan hugged me. "You did good, but I knew the final confrontation was still ahead. The one where all the evidence would come out, where Evelyn's control would finally break, where Marcus would have to choose between his mother and any hope of a relationship with Noah. The pieces were moving, the loops were closing, and in the high, quiet moments holding my son, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Control, real control. The weeks after discharge blurred into a careful dance of lawyers, late-night feedings, and quiet strength. By early April 2024, Noah was 6 weeks old. Our apartment in Capitol Hill smelled like baby powder and fresh coffee. Ryan had taken 2 weeks off work to help. My business clients understood the pause. Life was settling into a new rhythm until Marcus made his next calculated move. He filed for emergency paternity rights on April 8th. The paperwork claimed I was unstable, that Ryan was a temporary figure, and that Noah needed the Hale family resources. Evelyn's signature appeared as a character witness. They even included a statement from an old colleague suggesting I had been fixated on pregnancy during our marriage. Sarah, my lawyer, called me the same morning. "They're pushing hard, Emma, but we're ready. File the counter petition. Today. Full evidence package." I sat at the kitchen table with Noah in his bouncer. The full folder lay open. 217 pages, bank transfers, clinic emails, hotel records. The recorded mediation snippet where Evelyn said, clear as day, "Marcus needs a clean break. Emma will never carry a Hale child. Make sure the notes reflect that reality." Ryan watched me sign the papers. "This is it. No going back." I nodded. Good. The court hearing was scheduled for April 22nd, family court in downtown Seattle. I arrived in a simple black dress, Ryan beside me, my parents in the row behind. Marcus and Evelyn sat across the aisle with their expensive lawyer. Marcus wore his best suit. Evelyn looked like she was attending a board meeting. The judge, a woman in her late 50s named Ramirez, reviewed the initial filings. Then Sarah stood. Your Honor, we have documented evidence of interference in medical care, financial manipulation during the marriage, and perjury in the original divorce proceedings. She presented the emails first. The judge read them silently. Marcus shifted in his seat. Evelyn's face stayed frozen, but her hands gripped her purse tighter. Then came the recording. I had saved it on a USB. Sarah played the 30-second clip. Evelyn's voice filled the courtroom. She's defective, doctor. Marcus deserves better. Adjust the summary. He needs to move on. Judge Ramirez looked up. Mrs. Hale, is this your voice? Evelyn stood. It's taken out of context. I was emotional. The judge raised a hand. Sit down. The next beat hit when Sarah introduced the private investigator's financial trail. $25,000 to the clinic. Another $18,000 to the divorce lawyer as a consulting fee. Marcus's joint account charges at the hotel with Lauren. Dates overlapping with our final arguments. Marcus's lawyer tried to object. The judge overruled. I watched Marcus's face. The pale delivery room color returned. He whispered something to Evelyn. She shook her head sharply. During a short recess, Marcus approached me in the hallway. Security stayed close. Emma, call this off. I'll drop everything. Joint custody. No fights. I'll even step back from the board if that's what you want. I looked at him. You still think this is negotiable? It stopped being negotiable the day you delivered your son and realized you had thrown away your own future. Evelyn joined him, her voice low and venomous. You'll regret this. My connections go deep. The hospital. The judges. You're nobody. Ryan stepped between us. Threats in a courthouse. Bold. The recess ended. Judge Ramirez returned with a sharper tone. Based on the preliminary evidence, I am granting temporary sole custody to Ms. Thompson. Visitation for Dr. Hale will be supervised and limited pending full investigation. The court will also refer the medical interference claims to the State Medical Board and Hospital Ethics Committee. Evelyn stood up suddenly. This is outrageous. My family built half the pediatric wing in that hospital. The judge stared. Her down. Sit down, or I will hold you in contempt. Evelyn sat, but the mask had cracked. Her hands trembled. The hearing continued for another 40 minutes. More documents, more quiet gasps from the small audience. When it ended, Marcus and Evelyn left quickly. No final words, just the sound of expensive shoes on marble floors. That night, I held Noah on the couch. Ryan made pasta. We ate quietly. Victory tasted calm, not loud. Just solid. But the real twist came 3 weeks later, May 14th, 2024. I received a certified letter from Seattle Memorial Hospital. Marcus had been placed on administrative leave. The ethics committee had opened a formal investigation based on the court-submitted evidence. Not just the emails, a second whistleblower had come forward. A former nurse who confirmed Evelyn had pressured staff to influence patient notes in other cases too. Marcus's perfect career record now carried a public stain. Then came the second letter, from his malpractice insurance carrier. They were reviewing coverage due to potential fraud claims. I didn't celebrate loudly. I just closed the folder for the last time and placed it on the top shelf. Evelyn tried one final move in early June. She showed up at our building with a large envelope. Ryan met her downstairs. She demanded to see Noah. He refused. Through the intercom, she said, "Tell Emma I was wrong about one thing. She got pregnant, but she'll never be enough for a Hale." Ryan answered simply, "Good thing he's a Thompson. Now, we're adopting. Papers filed yesterday." That was the twist they never saw coming. Ryan had started the adoption process quietly the week after discharge. With Marcus's rights limited and the evidence against them, the court fast-tracked it. On June 18th, 2024, Ryan officially became Noah's legal father. The Hale name was removed from all records. Marcus found out through his lawyer. He called me that evening, voice hoarse. "You let another man adopt my son?" I stood on the balcony watching the city lights. "I let a real father adopt him. You were just the donor who chose to walk away." He didn't argue. He just breathed heavily for a long moment. "I lost everything, Emma. The board voted to censure me. Evelyn had a mild stroke last week. Stress, they said. Our family name is damaged. I didn't feel joy, just closure. Live with it, Marcus. The way I lived with your mother's words for years. The way I rebuilt alone." He hung up. Evelyn never contacted us again. Marcus requested one supervised visit in July. I allowed it. 1 hour at a neutral park. He held Noah awkwardly. The baby cried most of the time. Marcus left early. He hasn't asked since. By August, our life had settled completely. Ryan and I got married in a small ceremony in Portland. 20 guests, my parents' backyard. Noah in a tiny suit. No drama, just love. My marketing business grew. 3 new clients that month alone. We moved to a bigger place with a yard near. Green Lake. Nothing extravagant, but ours. One evening in late September, I sat on the porch watching Ryan push Noah on the baby swing. The sunset over the water. Calm, golden. I thought about the delivery room, the pale face, the lies, the evidence, the courtroom. All of it led here. The universe hadn't decided I was broken. Evelyn had tried to decide for it, but biology, timing, and quiet determination proved her wrong. Noah laughed as Ryan lifted him high. The sound carried across the yard. That was the real justice. Not destruction, not revenge money. Just this. A family built on truth. On choosing each other every day. If you've stayed with this story until now, I have one specific question for you. What would you have done the moment your ex-husband turned pale in that delivery room? Would you have shown the evidence right then, or waited like I did to make it hurt longer? I read every single comment. Everyone.